This video is brought to you by Artistworks. Artistworks are part of True5 Studios, and they offer direct access to master musicians through their innovative online learning platform. Partnering with iconic musicians, they've crafted decades of industry experience into guided paths of online lessons. Crucially, there's an option to get personal feedback tailored specific to your playing via their unique video exchange. Get direct guidance towards your playing goals. You can use the code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of Artistworks courses. If you're new here, I'm guessing probably most of you aren't. On Mondays, I like to give some sort of technical lick-based exercise to work on. So this one for me is, I'm kind of a big fan of the sound of the pentatonic scale when used somewhat like Eric Johnson, Joe Bonamassa, these kind of folks, where it's kind of fast pentatonic playing, which maybe doesn't go straight up, straight down. So I'm going to break down this lick for you. Patreon will be the place to get the tabs and the backing track. £2 a month to join there. I hope that represents fairly good value because you get basically 4 of these lick lessons, any backing tracks that you want, and then also the jazz kind of chord melody that I put up on there as well. So let's jump in. This, I guess, is kind of the other side of my playing that I like to focus on. Of course, one of the key parts is kind of legato, and I guess the kind of pentatonic-y stuff kind of suits alternate picking, although it's not essential. So we're going to start here in C minor, and we're going to basically be using this first position of C minor, or the E flat major. So in my opinion, it makes sense to view the pentatonic scale not just in terms of minor and major shapes, but actually as connecting the same shape in all sorts of different places, because it's the same 5 notes. So this is the same as this in terms of the notes involved. And then we've got like our third minor shape. That's what we're going to be using. Now, the next thing to think about is kind of note groupings, and I was watching a Ben Eller video on this, and he kind of talked in a way that it made quite a lot of sense to me, again, about why we think about this. So when folks like Joe Bonamassa and Eric Johnson are improvising around this, I don't think they're necessarily thinking too much in the moment about how many notes there are. I think probably they're thinking in a slightly larger group, or just kind of practicing or playing things that they have practiced a fair amount in a certain way, and then things end up lining up quite well. So one of the things that you could think about is 2, or 4, so 4 notes could be arranged like this. So 1, 2, and then you could go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That sort of thing, if that makes sense. You could go up sort of 3, so 3 sets of strings. Back down, back down, back down. You get this. That's one of my favorites to use, or descending. But instead of thinking about, right, I need 2 on this string, 2 on this string, 2 on this string, I'm thinking about kind of the wider pattern, if that makes sense. Or, you know, you go 4. Or you could do a thing where you kind of go 2, 3, 3. And you notice that that would add up to 8. So that would be like 2, 3, 3 would be a way that would kind of sort itself out quite nicely. So 2, 3, 3. Okay, so that's kind of just one thing to sort of be conscious of when you're trying to put some of this stuff together, sort of groups of 2, groups of 3, and then what those add up to in terms of, you probably want something like a 6 or an 8 in total, so that it sorts itself nicely into time. Right, then, this pattern that I sort of came up with, we're going to go 4, so 2 strings. Then we're going to come back down to here, like this. Then we're going to start again. 8, 10, 8, 10, 13. So we've got position shift there. And then we're in our next shape. So 13, 10, 12, 11. And we're doing it in kind of triplet feel. And for me, this is kind of brand new. I kind of thought about this last night and I've started to work on it this morning. So look at it and think about the general kind of thing that's going on. So we've got 4, and then or you could think about that as 6. And then 3, 2, 1. And you could move that around, right? And I would encourage you absolutely to do that to get the most out of this sort of thing. Right, so then I thought, what if we came down here to the 10th fret, and same thing again. So 10, 13, 10, 13, 10, 13. And then we want 3 on the next string, right? So 10, 12, 15. 13, 16, 15, and then come down to the 13th fret. So you get this. And you want to end here on your middle finger so that you can start again on your index. Something like that. And find the fingering that works for you. As you do the 3 note per string, try and let your hand kind of follow along. Okay, and then what I thought also was we could just kind of do the descending version of that. So we start on the 13th fret, 16, 13, 15, 12, 10, right? And then 13, 10, 13, 10, 13, 10. Right? And then we come back up to here, to our 11th fret. Right? 11, 12, 10, 13, 10, 8, 10, 8, 10, 8, 11, 8. And so all together you get quite a nice long kind of line. Onto your middle finger, middle finger. So your middle finger is kind of leading the dance in a lot of the cases. So that might actually help you to kind of figure this one out if you think about your middle finger as starting quite a lot of the line. On the way up, we're going to be finishing on our middle finger most of the time. And on the way down, starting. So that's something that I'm working on today. Try and kind of take it easy and try and keep your hands and the rest of your body kind of relaxed, I guess, as well. And kind of be aware of whether you're playing it kind of the same every time. And for me, I'm finding that some of the positiony stuff is a little bit tricky, but I think it's going to be worth it in the long run. Because it's a kind of new shape and new structure for me, and I think it kind of flows quite nicely. If you've got smaller hands, you could consider sticking a slide in instead. Which is quite an Eric Johnson type thing to do. But for me, I'm more of a trying to get these 3 note per string things working. So I'm going to kind of practice this more throughout the day. I'm going to go and have a cold shower and then try and put together the intro and see if I can get it up to any speed at all. While you're practicing it, you might as well, while you're trying to get the speed up, figure it out in other keys. So in G sharp minor, for instance. It's going to be a little bit difficult because of how many position shifts there are. But I reckon it might be worth it because it sounds pretty cool in C sharp minor, maybe. But yeah, Patreon will be the place to get the tab. I'm going to try and get it together now, and let me know how you get on with that in the comments. If you've got suggestions for other things you want me to try and tackle, let me know. Cheers for now.